Hi everyone, welcome to Watercolor Wednesday. I am Bonnie Krebs, creator of Watercolor the Art Impressions Way. And this week I'm going to walk you through our exclusive set. So this is our 2017 limited edition watercolor set. It's a set of 7 stamps. It contains the little wheelbarrow, 2 containers, 2 foliages, and 2 florals that are included in this set. And of course they will work with everything that you already have. Now this set is only available through our watercolor class, so it's not available for purchase on our website. It's free to those of you who have signed up for our watercolor classes as we travel across the country. So check out our website and look at our show schedule, see if we're coming to a town near you, and get into that class so that you can get this set. It is a collector and it is only available for 2017. Our 2016 set for last year is out of production, and so we are now on to our new set for this year. So if you want to try to get this set, get into one of our classes and you will get this set for free. So if either check out our website, give us a call, or email us on our website and get some information on how to get this set. So we're going to go through this one, and I'm going to walk you through how to put this together. So we're going to start with a little wheelbarrow. And I should say, in addition to that collector set, we also need a few more things. So in the new watercolor set 2, we're going to use this little circle of hearts here. We're also going to use in the flower set the little filler flower, and then the grasses. So the 2 grasses, the large and the small, we're going to use those. Okay, so now let's ink this up. We're going to start with a sepia because this little wheelbarrow is old and rustic. So we're going to start with the sepia, and then you can add color to it if you want to. We're going to stamp this right in the center of the watercolor paper. Okay, just like that. And then we're going to dip our brush in water like we always do. This is always the starting point. So the thing about this technique is that you always have a place to start. You always have a place to start. And sometimes a plain sheet of paper is very intimidating. Even for an artist it is. So this way we always know where to start. So a blank sheet of paper doesn't intimidate us at all. Okay, so I'm starting where the color would be the darkest, and that's on the sides. And under this little overhang, we're going to have some color there too. So easy, easy, easy. Just drag this color out just like that, and we're done with this part. So now we're going to add our little containers to the wheelbarrow. And I'm going to use my positioner just to make sure that I get them in the right place. And I'm going to start with this little one. And I'm not going to use the whole thing, so I can just use this little block, just like this. I'm going to ink it in the sepia. And stamp it on this little acetate sheet. Actually, it's a little plexiglass. And I can see exactly where I want to put it. So I'm going to put it clear over to the side in the wheelbarrow. Now the thing about this one is that it's pretty tall. So you can use as much of it as you want. You can sink it clear down in here like this, or you can make it tall like this. So you can do a series of these and they all look different. So we're just using probably this much right here. Okay, so I'm going to put this back. And I'm just going to use a little Post-it note. So I do this a lot because I don't like to spend time cutting masks. And most of the time, a little Post-it will just protect that area. So let's ink this up again in the sepia. And we're just going to stamp it. Now we're going to put this back in the corner and stamp it just like this. So now we have our little pot in here. So let's do the other one. And we can use that shield again and make sure that we have it right where we want it. And let's turn this one a little bit like this. So we've got this one tipping a little bit. That looks pretty good right there. So again, we're going to use the Post-it and place that right in here like this. That will protect our wheelbarrow so that we're not stamping over the top. Okay. Okay, just like that. So we're going to ink this up again. And stamp it in the corner. Okay, so we've got two little pots in here. So let's do one in the center. We've got one left. So this is a little wooden basket. It's really cute. We're going to ink this one also in the sepia and use our positioner again just to make sure that we get this in the right place. No guesswork. Just like this. That's a good spot right there. And we can place it in there right just like that. We'll use our Post-it note again just to cover that area. And we'll re-ink this little basket. So easy. Okay, so we've got our little containers in our wheelbarrow now. So we're going to do the same as we did with wheelbarrow. We're going to pull the color out of the lines. And these are round containers, so we know that the darkest color is going to be on the sides. So you always start there. And just drag the color to the center. Even if the pot is small, we're still going to see that highlight in the middle. That's really, really important. Otherwise, if you color everything in solid, it's just going to be flat. And then it's really hard to fix that. And we're going for something that looks three-dimensional. We want this to look like a little painting. Okay, let's go on from here. We can come back and add some color to these, which we will later. So for right now, we're good to go. So let's add our foliages and flowers. Now in this set, there's some really, really cool ones. So this little guy here has a set of 3. So we're going to put this one in the middle. And let's start out with some grasses. So let's put some greenery in here. So we've got our little grass, and we're going to ink this with the green. And we're just going to get a little bit of this in here. And actually, let's just put some in this pot as well. This is always the fun part, is getting the flowers in. I just love this part. Just pull that color out of the lines. And if you go over the lip of the pot, that's okay. Don't stress out over that. Okay, so now we're going to ink this little guy. And we're going to use the Prussian blue. So this is number 29. This is Prussian blue. And we're going to ink this in 2 colors. So the tops, we're going to ink in the Prussian blue. And the bottoms, we're going to ink in the green. So the olive green is what I'm using. And I'm just going to use my Post-it note again, just to make sure that I don't stamp over the top of that too much. Remember, we're getting this in here a bunch of times, so stamp this a bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're just going to dip our brush in water and touch all of these little lines. So cute. Don't get too much water. These are really small little lines, so don't get too much water in here. Remember, you're just touching all these little areas. It's okay to go outside of the lines a little bit too. Blend it with the green, that's okay. Okay, so now let's go on to this one. And we're going to use these little circle hearts. I call them circle hearts, but they're actually really great for foliage or flowers. You can use them for both. I think I use them equally the same for flowers and foliage. So this is kind of an up, down motion. So just a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dip your brush. Pinch it off. And we've got those little florals in there. Okay, let's go on to this one. And we're going to use the little filler flower from the flower set. And we're using the violet. So the violet is number 8. And we don't need the whole thing. So we're just going to use 2 of these little flowers. But we're still going in a circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And don't be afraid to hang that clear out of the basket. And just dab with your brush. There's lots of things that you can put in these little pots. And if you don't have the specific one I'm using, there are so many substitutes that you can use. There's just a lot of options for this project. Okay, so let's use the single one now. This is it's actually a little floral, but it works great as a foliage too. So we're going to use it that way. We're going to ink this now in the green. Oops. We're going to ink this now in the green. And we're going to add it to our little flower set here. Just get this in here a bunch of times. One, two, three, four, five. Put a few more out here. And then add our water. Easy to do. This one, like I said, can be both. So it's actually a foliage. Excuse me, a flower. But it works great as a little foliage as well. And I just kind of mix everything together. I think that adds a lot of dimension to do that. And especially back in here where we're going to have shadows in and under here. Okay, so we've got our little flowers and stuff in here. So let's go on down to the bottom, and we're going to use our large grasses, and that would be from the original foliage set. Go back to these all the time. And we're just going to stamp this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just get those grasses in there underneath. Pull that color up and out. Remember, this is the brush stroke with the grasses. And we're going to have a little shadow under here. So let's add some of our shadow color, and that is the number 86, the African violet. So we're going to get some of this color and just brush it in underneath. You want to be sure to show that. That's really important. And we can put some of it in here as well. Put a little darker color under here. This overhang here where all these blooms are overhanging, that's going to give a shadow. And underneath. Okay, so let's add our blooms now to the bottom, and we're going to do that with the little circle hearts again. So let's put these back on a little block, and I'm using the magenta, and this is that up down motion. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So easy. It's more important that you stamp it multiple times than that you get it in the exact right space, because you can see when you add the water to it, it kind of fills in. It doesn't matter that it's in the exact right space. Touch all these little blooms and pull out some of this color from the wheelbarrow, because we've got, we want to be able to see through here. And adding this little background color, that really adds a lot to the image. Makes it a lot more three-dimensional, because you would be seeing background back here. And don't be afraid to just blend these colors. Just like that. So let's add some color now to our little pots, and we can do that with some browns. So we can make these more of a terracotta color, or we can add some sepia to them. That's always the fun part. Or we can add a color. Let's add a little Prussian blue. Okay, so let's add some of this terracotta color to these pots. We're always, remember, we start where the color would be the darkest, so that's on the edge. On the edges because they are round. And this is a process, so you want to just keep putting that color on. Put the color on and then drag it to the center. And let that color kind of fade out because we don't want to see like a really sharp line here in the center. We want to see that color kind of fade out. And then you can go darker and darker. The more layers that you put on here, the darker the color is going to be. So let that dry and then just keep applying the color. So fun. And this is what makes it look like a watercolor painting as opposed to just a stamped image. We want to go take it to that next level so that it looks like something that belongs together, a little painting and something that nobody would guess is stamped. That's always our goal, is that nobody can tell that it's stamped. And so you can see how much darker this is getting. You could just keep adding this color on here. It's just going to get darker and darker. How cute? And let's add some color now to this basket. So again, we're starting where the color is going to be the darkest and bringing it over. And just take your time. These are little tiny images, so you want to take your time and just gradually add that color. Make sure your brush isn't too wet. And just keep applying that color. And in between these little planks, this is going to be darker in here because these little planks also are contoured. So they would have a darker color on either side. I can add a little of this blue too because that's a great shadow color. Make this more three-dimensional. Don't be afraid to add more color to things. You know, when you're looking at something, especially out in the distance, you're going to see a lot of shadows and a lot of colors. Nothing is ever one color. Okay, let's add a little of this now to the sky. Just put a little of this color in here. Blend it all together. It's okay. When you're doing sky, make sure that your brush is wet enough. Otherwise, you're going to get too many brush strokes. Just make sure that it's wet. Okay, that looks pretty good. And we are about finished. This is also a great one to give away. Fun spring. The thing about these two is that they're good for any occasion. And quick and easy to do. Okay, so we are about finished. Ready to sign and date. Always sign and date your work. It's going to be different every time. And it's so fun to put on a card. It's so fun to give away. It really, really makes people so happy. So do that. Check out our website, find out where we're going to be, and see how you can get this really, really great collectible set. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week.